Hello everyone, this is part 31 of What If Naruto Was in Rosario Vampire, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Naruto was lying down on the roof of his mansion with his head resting in Mocha's lap. Mocha was playfully running her hands through his thick hair. It was dark now and the summer heat was finally dissipating a bit. Naruto shut his eyes and enjoyed the feeling of a cool breeze gusting past. He liked these times, when he could just relax and be alone with Mocha. In the distance he could hear the faded cheers and the faint echo of music, the sounds of celebration. You don't mind celebrating like this, do you, Mocha-chan? Of course not, my beloved. He could feel her fingers gently tracing the scars on his cheeks. There is no better way to celebrate than to be alone with you. He opened his eyes to look up into her beautiful face. I know how much you enjoy festivals. He recalled the fun they'd had at Yukai Academy's festival before Itachi's arrival. If you want, we can put on henges and... Mocha shook her head. No, Naruto-kun, if you do not feel comfortable then I much prefer this. She looked a bit angry. Though I admit it offends me that the Hokage invited so many to attend the festivities with him, but not you. They should all be honoring you as the great hero, instead they grant you no special honors, not even a place at the celebration. He chuckled a bit. Now that the fighting's over, I'm sure they'd all like to pretend that I don't exist. Despicable, she muttered angrily. As long as they don't try and burn my house down, it's fine. He looked out upon the village. From his rooftop he had a perfect view of not just the village but of the Hokage monument as well. They can enjoy themselves for tonight. Mocha looked at him thoughtfully. You know we have the mansion to ourselves tonight. You were kind enough to grant Tayuya a night off. Kokoa heard there would be free alcohol served at the plaza and couldn't leave fast enough, and Hinata is attending with her father. Interesting that she was given an invitation but not you. Nothing wrong with that, she's his daughter after all. While I am, he paused for a bit. Well, what am I? A monster, I suppose, a demon, or maybe just a necessary evil. You should be their hero, Mocha said firmly. You brought them a swift victory and end to their war, and nearly SD for them. He chuckled. Oh, I'm sure that there are a lot of people upset that I nearly SD. As for being a hero to these people, that'll never happen, and it's not something I care about anyway. I might have wanted it once, but not anymore. She continued to run her fingers lightly over his face. You and Hinata seem to have grown closer. Maybe a little, he admitted. XXXXXXXXXX. The day before. There was a knock on her bedroom door. Please come in, Naruto-kun. Naruto opened the door to see Hinata sitting demurely at a small table. She was wearing a dark blue kimono and had her hair up. She looked quite beautiful. On the table were a tea kettle and 2 porcelain cups and saucers. Hinata nodded to him and motioned to the other chair at the table. Won't you please join me, Naruto-kun? He shut the door and carefully sat down across from her. He was in his regular black ninja clothing and felt a bit underdressed. Is there some special occasion I didn't know about? You don't usually ask to talk with the real me. For most things I am happy to be with one of your clones, but for certain occasions I think it best to be with the true person. She lifted the kettle. Will you have tea with me, Naruto-kun? Of course. You like yours without sugar or milk? He nodded. He'd had tea with her many times before, at least his clones had. She filled his cup with steaming hot green tea and then filled her own. She put a couple spoonfuls of sugar into her cup and began to stir it. I've noticed that Mocha likes hers the same way. The two of you seem to share a lot of tastes. That's true, I suppose. He blew on the hot tea before taking a sip. It had a strong herbal flavor to it that reminded him of the forest in the springtime. Your tea is always really good, Hinata-chan. But was there a reason you asked me to come here? She took a sip of her own before setting the cup and saucer back down. Did you know that the tea ceremony was originally created to help warring lords to make peace? Enemies would come together and share tea as a symbolic way of sharing peace and brotherhood. Naruto smiled a bit and took another sip. I believe the ancient Emperor Xianhu was the first to practice it. Hinata gave him a look of open surprise. You learn some interesting things living with a teacher for 4 years. Iruka-sensei made it a point to teach me everything he could, not just things about how to be a ninja. She smiled a bit and nodded. I'm sure if Iruka were here now he would be very proud of you. I'd like to think so. Naruto answered quietly. He looked at her and sipped his tea again. So are you trying to make peace with me, Hinata-chan? I don't recall us being at war. I do want to talk to you about peace, Naruto-kun, but not between us. I want to discuss peace between you and the villages. Ah, now I get it. You want me to leave the poor helpless villages alone. He set his cup down. Is that it? She slowly nodded. Yes, Naruto-kun, I know the issues you've had with them. But all that was years ago. Konoha is finally at peace now, mostly thanks to you. The villagers are no threat to you. Couldn't you find it in your heart to just leave them be? He gave her a big smile that had no warmth to it at all. You mean the way they let me be when I was helpless? Naruto-kun, things have changed since then. Yeah, they have. I'm not helpless anymore. That's right, Naruto-kun. Hinata looked at him pleadingly. You're the one with the power now. The people in the village can't hurt you anymore. Can't you show them mercy? You have the chance to show them that they're wrong about you. Naruto-kun, I know you have kindness inside you. I've seen how gentle you are with me and with Mocha. No matter what people think, I know you have a good heart. Can't you show it to them the way you have to me? Why should I? He said bitterly. Because if you do, people might finally come to understand they were wrong about you. He wanted to laugh in her face but held it in. You really believe that? You really think anything I could do would change them and how they see me? They hate me, Hinata-chan, and I hate them. I don't care what they think of me. Then could you please do it for me? She said in a small voice. Her pale lavender eyes stared at him, beseeching and mournful. Would you at least try for my sake? I want there to be peace in this village and for people to accept you. If you won't do it for them, would you do it for me? He looked into her kind face. He took a deep breath and sighed. I won't make any promises, Hinata-chan, but so long as they don't attack me, I'll try and leave them be. Thank you, Naruto-kun, she said excitedly. XXXXXXXXXXX. Mocha had of course noted the fact that the real him had been alone with Hinata in her bedroom. She had asked him about it and he had told her what had happened. You and Hinata seem to have grown closer. Maybe a little, he admitted. I never would have expected you to make peace with the villagers. I haven't made peace with anyone, Naruto said. At most this is just a ceasefire. My long-term goals are still the same. She is very close to her father, very loyal to him. I can't speak from experience, but that is normal, right? I wouldn't know, Naruto-kun. I have never been close to my father. She paused for a bit. Do you trust her? He closed his eyes and tried to relax. The only person I trust completely is you, Mocha-chan. High above the Hokage monument, a single rocket raced into the night sky. It exploded in a shower of golden sparks. Naruto opened his eyes again and actually smiled. I love the fireworks. When I was a kid, this was the only part of the festivals I got to enjoy. I would sit alone in my room by the window and watch the sky fill up with lights. She smiled and leaned down to kiss him. Then let's watch them together, my love. XXXXXXXXXXX. On top of the Hokage Tower, a small crowd stood with their eyes cast to the night sky, watching as the various rockets exploded and added to the magnificent display. Truly a glorious and wondrous night, Hokage-sama, Danzo said. Hiashi nodded slightly. Despite the celebration going on around him and down in the vast plaza below, he seemed as stoic and solemn as ever. It is indeed a fitting conclusion to our long war. The war isn't quite over yet, Jiraiya reminded. There's still the little matter of Orochimaru. Orochimaru will be dealt with, Danzo said confidently. The Sound Village is rubble and he has only a handful of ninja left. With the whole army free now, the war in the north is finished. It is only a matter of time until he is tracked down and exterminated. We've been trying to do that for 4 years now without much luck. Jiraiya said. He's a Sannin, even without an army he's dangerous. Danzo offered one of his very rare grins, a pale twist of his thin lips. Then perhaps we should send our greatest weapons out to deal with him. Surely you, Sasuke, and Naruto would be more than a match for him. Jiraiya eyed the one-armed ninja warily. Well, that's true. Very well, the Hokage said. You will go out to Rice Country and destroy Orochimaru. You are not to return until that is accomplished. Jiraiya turned to the Hokage with an unhappy look. He is very good at hiding. It may take quite a while to find him. With the war in Suna now complete, finding Orochimaru and avenging Sarutobi is the priority. You may have whatever resources you require, but I want Orochimaru eliminated whatever the cost. To that end, you and your team will hunt him down until he is dealt with. That could take quite a while, months, maybe even a year or more. Jiraiya stated. You have been away from the village for long periods before, Jiraiya. The Hokage pointed out. Do you not agree that this mission is vital? No. Unfortunately, I have to say I can't think of anything else as important. Though if Naruto is kept in the field for so long, that will be an open invitation to Akatsuki to come after him. I have complete faith not only in Naruto's ability and strength but in yours and Sasuke's as well. I trust that you will keep him safe from any threats. And if I fail to, I'm sure that would tear open your heart. Jiraiya thought. Even if everything goes according to plan, your son-in-law is likely to be away for a very long time. Perhaps that would be for the best, the Hokage freely admitted. Perhaps after an extended mission he will have a greater appreciation for the village and its people. Nearby, a saddened Hinata listened in silence. XXXXXXXXXX. Following the fireworks, Naruto and removed Mocha's dress and they had made love on a blanket atop the roof. The two of them remained there wrapped together out in the cool summer night. At some point that night the two of them had noted a blaze coming from somewhere in the southern, poorer, section of the village. Some place is burning, Mocha noted. Naruto looked at the distant firelight and grimaced at the memories it brought to mind. That happens sometimes on festival nights. All the free booze turns happy crowds into happy mobs. He shrugged and pulled Mocha's body closer. Just so long as they don't try and pay a visit here, I don't really care. They began making love again by the distant fire's glow. XXXXXXXXXX. Father, please don't send Naruto-kun away like this, Hinata implored. She had waited until she could be alone with him before making her plea. Hiashi frowned at her. Tell me, are you any nearer to sharing his bed and producing an heir? Flushed with embarrassment, she looked down. No, she admitted timidly. She was a Jonin and had seen war, but even now she found it difficult to face her own father and his constant disapproval. Then my decision stands, Hiashi replied coolly. This is in the best interest of the village. Hopefully when he returns some of his attitudes will have improved, perhaps he will even be willing to consummate your marriage. She hated his icy tone. She understood that when he used it he was talking down to her. But father, my decision is made, Hinata. I suggest you return to your home. Having been dismissed, she could only stand there as her father walked away from her. XXXXXXXXXX. In a hidden room somewhere beneath the village, Danzo handed his protégé a folder. You understand your mission? Danzo asked. The question was a mere formality. Of course, Sai replied in his measured and unemotional voice. I am to go to Orochimaru and claim to be a traitor. I will hand him the information regarding Naruto and aid in any way possible with Naruto's elimination. Danzo nodded once. And once Naruto is I am to execute Orochimaru. You understand that whatever happens you can never again return to Konoha. You shall have to play the part of the traitor to the end. If necessary, once Naruto and Orochimaru are both you must allow either Jiraiya or Sasuke to KU. I understand, Danzo-sama, Sai said easily and without lament. Such SS are sometimes necessary to achieve the ultimate goal. I do regret that it is now necessary to SU. I had hoped Naruto would become the village's ultimate weapon. But he is too dangerous and too unpredictable. If a guard dog becomes rabid, then he must be put down. I understand, Sai again spoke without any hint of fear or resentment. From the shadows a third figure stepped forward. If I have to, I promise to make your death quick and clean. Sai turned to the other person and gave him a weird smile. I thank you for that, Uchiha Sasuke. Early the following morning, one of the clones came to the rooftop to wake them. They had a pair of unexpected visitors. XXXXXXXXXX. As Naruto descended the stairs to the grand hallway, an old man and his young daughter looked up at him. Their faces looked worn and their eyes were red. They looked terrible. Chuki-san, Ayami-chan, what's going on? As soon as he approached them, they both bowed low. Lord Namikaze, Ayami's voice sounded on the verge of tears. Please forgive us for coming here and disturbing you, but we have no one else to turn. Lord Namikaze, Naruto said in surprise. Since when have you ever called me that? I'm just plain Naruto to the two of you, always. Now what's going on, Ayami-chan? She and her father both stood there and looked at him sadly. Finally Tsuki was the one to answer. There was a fire. XXXXXXXXXX. There weren't many people on the street that morning. There was never work the day after a festival. Most of the village would have been out all night drinking and celebrating. Employers knew better than to try and get anything done. The few people who were out and about that morning seemed to know better than to come anywhere near him. The moment they spotted him, they turned right around and headed back the way they'd come. No one came within 50 yards. That was probably for the best. When Tsuki and Ayami had told him what had happened, he'd needed to come and see with his own eyes. He was standing in the blackened wreckage of what had once been Ichiraku's. His favorite stool was still standing, though it was just blackened metal now. From in front of the charred counter he could now look and see right into the kitchen. The ovens and appliances were all half buried beneath charred wood and rubble. He tasted the air. Beneath the heavy smell of smoke was the familiar scent of gasoline, as well as the scent of over 1,000 different individuals. Amazing, just when I think it would be impossible to hate them more than I already do. He looked all around. Despite the nearness of other buildings, only this one had burned. If you only had one and I'd hack it through. He wanted to them, all of them. But if he started laying waste to the village, he would have to fight off a couple thousand ninja. After what had happened in Suna, he understood he was not strong enough for that, not yet. Oh, but F me if I'm not getting a little revenge tonight. Without a sound he left the blackened ruins of what had been his only sanctuary as a small boy. Before heading home he made a side trip to Root headquarters. He had orders for Danzo. XXXXXXXXXX. It wasn't just our business that was destroyed. Tsuki said wearily. We lived in an apartment upstairs, we lost everything. And we have no insurance. Ayami was on the verge of tears. It is all right, Mocha tried to sound comforting. The two of you have been good friends to Naruto, he will not abandon you. That's right, Hinata agreed. Naruto-kun can be very kind. Hinata grieved that these poor people had been burned out. But she was also scared of how Naruto might react. A bloodbath would not help things. We are so ashamed that we came here to bother you, but really we had nowhere else to turn to for help. Ayami said. You needn't feel that way, Mocha assured. My husband often speaks of how much your kindness meant to him both then and now. You are very welcome here. The important thing is you're both all right, Hinata said. We were lucky, Tsuki said. We were celebrating in another part of the village. If we had gone home early, I'm sure nothing would have happened to you, Hinata spoke firmly. The people of this village are not the sort who would hurt innocents. No, they are the sort who would just burn down their homes and businesses. Mocha said sharply. Open your eyes, Hinata, they are lucky that they were not there. Tsuki and Ayami looked uncomfortable while Hinata shook her head. The villagers are wolves dressed as sheep, Mocha said. They are sheep until there is no one stronger nearby, and then their claws come out. The villagers aren't like that, Hinata insisted. You might believe that, Mocha said. But then they never hated you. Mocha's words left everyone else feeling uncomfortable and the talk ss out until Naruto finally returned. When he came home he looked serious, but not too unhappy. Naruto-kun, Hinata asked nervously. Did anything happen while you were out? Naruto glanced at her and understood perfectly what she was really saying. Did I go crazy and start killing some of your precious villagers? He asked her pleasantly. That's what you're really asking, isn't it? He shook his head. If just one person had done it I would have dealt with him, but it was a whole damn mob. He turned to Tsuki and Ayami and bowed very low to them, offering them a much more sincere apology than he ever had to Jiraiya of the Hokage. Please forgive me, Tsuki-san and Ayami-chan, but I am afraid I can't give you justice, at least not today. But I promise you that one day the people who committed this crime will pay for it. Ayami gave him the first smile she'd felt since all this had begun. That is all right, Naruto-kun, we both trust in you. He stood back up and took something from a pocket. This is for you. He handed it to Ayami. Taking it, she saw that it was a check. 2 million ru. She gasped. Naruto-kun, we can't, it's too much. You can and you will, Naruto told her. Money doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that you and your father were kind to me when almost no one else was. That money is yours, but I'm afraid it comes with one condition. He paused, hating what he was about to say. I want you and your father to leave Konoha and to never return. But the village is our home. Why? Because the next time the two of you might not be somewhere else. Naruto said sadly. The people here know that you're good friends to me, and I can't protect you. As long as you live here, you'll be targets. Please, take the money and go somewhere safe. But, he is right, Ayami, her father said miserably. After last night, we will not be safe if we stay. He looked at Naruto. I am very sorry, Naruto. Naruto shook his head. Don't be, the two of you find a nice place somewhere and start over. And if you should ever need me for any reason, contact me and I will be there. This isn't fair. Ayami began to cry. She reached out and hugged him. You only came back a little while ago and now we have to abandon you. You're not abandoning me, he told her gently. I just want to keep the two of you safe. It hurt him to have to say goodbye to two of the very few people he cared for, but he still did it. XXXXXXXXXXX. That night he received a message from Danzo asking him to come to an address. Will you come with me, Mocha-chan? I need to make a trip tonight. I see, Mocha nodded. She understood. Together they went to an old abandoned apartment building. Stepping inside, they were greeted by a very unhappy Danzo. This was stupid, he said immediately. I was forced to improvise. It will be very difficult to keep what was done secret. I may even need to ask one of my agents. Not my problem, Naruto said coldly. If you would have waited for the proper opportunity. I've waited 8 years, half my life, that's long enough. Where is he? Danzo frowned powerlessly. In room 515. Please at least make sure not to leave any evidence behind. Naruto climbed the stairs to the 5th floor and found room 515. The door was unlocked. Inside, the room was empty and bare. Except for a man lying unconscious in the middle of the floor, tied up and gagged. He was dressed in an Anbu cloak with a mask of a ram lying next to him. Smiling happily, Naruto grabbed the mask with one hand while he lifted the man up with the other. He turned to his wife. Shall we? Of course, dear. She took a hold of him and they were surrounded by black fire. In the next instant, the room was empty. XXXXXXXXXXX. You really need to teach me how to do that. Mocha laughed. XXXXXXXXXXX. The man slowly came awake. He wasn't sure what had happened. One moment he'd been on an ordinary patrol. The next. Fukashi, a friendly voice spoke. I am so very happy to finally meet you. You have no idea just how much. Fukashi saw his mask tossed at him. He looked up to see a man's face grinning down. The man had red eyes and fangs. Fukashi acted on instinct, grabbing a kunai and leaping up him. His wrist was caught in a vice-like grip and he was forced to let go of the kunai. Now there's no need for that, Naruto said teasingly and tossed him back to the ground as though he were nothing. I'm not going to KO you. I'm not even going to hurt you. Looking about, Fukashi saw he was in a wood somewhere, but the trees all seemed to be withering, none of them had leaves. He knew the forests around the village and there were no trees like these anywhere nearby. He also noted that there was a full moon up in the night sky. Before he had been abducted, there had been a half moon out. How long have I been unconscious? Fukashi demanded as he slowly got to his feet. Only a few hours, a woman's voice called. He saw a woman in a pale lavender dress standing a short ways off. She too had red eyes and fangs. He recognized her as the Lady Mocha. That's a lie, he faced Naruto and considered his options. So long as Naruto did not attack him, the safest course was to play along. He knew he was walking a very thin line and had to be careful if he wanted to survive. The moon is full and I don't recognize these woods. I must have been unconscious for at least a week while you moved me. Naruto laughed at him and Fukashi got a very bad feeling. Oh, we moved you all right, but not in the way you think. He waved an arm at their surroundings. This is the world of Jabberwocks. Jabberwocks, a very ancient race, long since SD out. Their sacred world is S2. The magics that sustain it are slowly fading away. Nothing else lives here, not a rabbit, not a mouse. But there is water and you should find enough roots and vegetables to survive. What are you talking about? Sacred worlds. Magics. Fukashi was staring to feel very cold. Naruto eyed him and continued to smile. The Anbu are the personal weapons of the Hokage. Even more so than other ninja, you are expected to show absolute loyalty to the Hokage and his orders. That is true, isn't it? It is. He knew where this was leading. He carefully licked his lips. What happened that night? There was a reason I couldn't stop it. Oh, by that night I assume you're referring to my 8th birthday. The night a mob broke into my apartment and lit me on fire while I screamed and screamed. Is that the night you're referring to? Ah, you were the one assigned to protect me that night, Naruto said pleasantly. The Hokage had ordered you to protect me, but instead you did nothing. You didn't even call for backup until after the fires had gone out. You don't understand, he said timidly. The crowd was huge. I would have had to start killing innocent people who were out of control. You could have just rescued me instead. The pleasant demeanor fell away and Naruto spoke with a cool tone. All you had to do was grab me and get me out of there. But instead you ignored your orders to protect me and let me burn. And the Hokage couldn't even punish you as you deserved because the damn council wouldn't allow it. But today you'll be punished. What are you going to do to me? Well, burning you alive would seem fair now, wouldn't it? He held out an open palm and filled it with fire. Fukashi took a couple steps back. But then it would be over much too quick. I want you to suffer. I want you to live right here trying to find some way to escape. I want you to be alone, without a single living soul to talk to. And I want you to live knowing that one day I will kill every living thing in Konoha, including your wife and children. They're going to S in fire one day, and you'll be partly to blame. With that he walked away back to his wife. You wouldn't. You would never destroy your own village. He smiled back cruelly. Why wouldn't I? They tried to do it to me. Please, my wife and children are innocent. Naruto stopped and looked at him a moment. I was innocent too once, that didn't save me. He took Mocha into his arms. They were surrounded by black fire and disappeared. Fukashi screamed and howled, but there was no one to hear him. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.